was sacked 30-plus times each of the last 3 years. That's a lot of sacks. So, Greg, are you worried about Zach Wilson handling the pressure, proverbially, literally, figuratively, of the New York market, of the New York team?
I'm not, man. I like this kid a lot. I like his moxie. I like his personality. I like the way he approaches his abilities. And when you're in New York and when you're in that market, you better be confident in everything that you have within yourself. And that's Zach Wilson. Look, we know what he can do on the football field, but when you talk about his leadership skills and what he provides, you got to have some type of confidence about who you are and what you are supposed to be doing. And he believes with everything in him that he's the guy that's going to turn this franchise around. We heard him, and we all you were a second-round draft pick, so you were probably at the draft, and you got all the red carpet poured out in front of you and all of that. You experienced all that. I never got to experience all that. But when you do those first interviews, you tend to listen to what rookies say because they tend to say things that they have no control over. And you heard that out of Zach Wilson. He's like, Super Bowl coming to New York. It's like, whoa, wait. But he truly believes that he's going to be a huge part of why this franchise turns around, along with Robert Saleh and his team that he's assembled. And so this is why I like that. I like Zach Wilson, and I like his situation. I like his mentality. I like his approach. And more than even that, when you think about the pieces that they're putting around this young man, they are supporting him. It's not just about this guy has talent, let's let him bring us to glory again. No, we're going to support him in every way we possibly can so that he can provide us with what we know we've seen on tape and what we know we're hoping to get in return as in the investment.
Greg, Casper, the friendly ghost, and his crew showed up on the sideline and was haunting Sam Darnold. He better hope, speaking of Zach, he better hope that Sam took those ghosts with him because they're going to be on that sideline again this season. And you think about this. It sounds good. It's a great story. Zach Wilson, the 13-year-old looking quarterback that gets drafted to the biggest market in all of the country and is going to be the quarterback and possibly starting for this team. Here's the problem. The problem you run into is this is a very unforgiving division that you're in. I mean, if you think about it, the Dolphins are loaded, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They look to be a team that will contend for the division. Then you got the Bills, who are looking to take a chokehold on the division and are a possible Super Bowl contender at this point with their play. And then there's that wild card team that we would never sit to think and say them third. You always lead off with the New England Patriots, but they could be a bounce-back team. They weren't the greatest of teams last year, but they certainly weren't the worst. And you know what? Let's take a look at what Bill Belichick is overall against rookie starting quarterbacks as a head coach of the Patriots. 20-6. 20-6. I don't see Zach Wilson coming in and being the catalyst of change this season for this New York Jets team. In fact, I don't even know that he finishes anywhere but last place as the starting quarterback for this New York Jets team. So with that being said, in the place where they have tabloids, and if you made it onto the back page of the paper, you've made it, but you ain't make it. This is something that Zach Wilson has never experienced. BYU is a long, long way from where he is at in the New York City market. So I don't think it's the greatest situation for any quarterback to go into. Not a rookie, not a vet, nobody. It looks as though it can improve. They've done some good hires. They've done some good additions. But if I'm Zach Wilson, I'd be scared to death going to play for this team right now, the state that it's currently in.
LeVar, forget about quarterbacks. Any star athlete going into New York faces a challenge with those franchises and their recent history. So, yes, I'm not worried. I'm resigned to the fact. I'm taking Greg Jennings' approach to things. Why worry? Be happy, because we know where this is going to go. Can I get a full screen on the quarterbacks that we've seen that have donned a New York Jets uniform that is supposed to be the next coming? Sheesh. Look at that group. Now, just take a gander at that list and what the results were, and tell me why I should think or believe that Zach Wilson somehow is going to be different, that this is going to be a different result. They cannibalize quarterbacks in New York. To your point, LeVar, in Provo, they got one newspaper. It doesn't even have a Sunday edition. They got rid of it a year ago. So the day after they play, there's no account in the newspaper of what happened on Saturday. How many TV stations do they have? I counted 3. You know how many are in New York City when it comes to the media?
Tell them, Rick.
TV networks.
How many?
Newspapers. Oh, it's an onslaught.
100.
So the combination of the pressure, the media pressure, and the pressure to be the savior of the New York Jets, yeah, Zach Wilson is walking into a bandsaw here, and the results have not been good in the past. There's no reason for me to believe it's going to be significantly different this time around.
See, I love how we do this. We do this all the time when we see situations that we're not a part of, but somebody else is going to be a part of. It's like, and they've been horrific. It's, oh, no, there's no way that they're going to turn that situation around. But if LeVar was going there, if Ric Bucher was going there, you would have a belief within you that you would be the missing piece, that you, despite recent history, that the time clock on your wrist, it continues to tick. That means eventually it would be a new day. That is Zach Wilson. He's believing that he's a part of that new day, that new regime. Robert Saleh believes the same thing, and I believe that the way that they've supported him with the current draft picks, the guard in the first round, the receiver in the second, like they are doing their due diligence to make sure that this young quarterback is supported immediately, and that he not only feels the support that from the personnel that we put on the field, but from the personnel that we already have at the coaching ranks. So I get it. He's going into a thick situation. But just like anyone else, he believes that I can, if you give me time, you allow my abilities to be what they've always been, I will be the reason we have change here in New York. Jets,
Jets.
Greg, I love your faith in Zach Wilson's faith in himself. But the one thing we know is that between the college game and the NFL game is, I don't even know how to measure it, but it's way faster. And that's particularly true for quarterbacks. Their ability to see things and process them quickly is maybe the biggest deciding factor in whether they make it or not. And at BYU, he had look at this. All the time in the world, ultimately, to get things done. I don't know where these highlights are coming from. We never saw him getting sacked in BYU. What's up with this?
Well, get ready.
The reality is he's not going to have any of this time with the Jets. They were last in pass blocking, according to Pro Football Focus. BYU, his left tackle was drafted in the 3rd round, Brady Christensen. He's not going to have nearly the same time he had at BYU. And ultimately, the game is going to be faster anyway. So I appreciate that, all that. And I appreciate your confidence in Robert Saleh. But is Robert Saleh going to do something different than Herm Edwards or Rex Ryan or Todd Bowles or Eric Mangini? What do they all have in common? They were all defensive coaches. And how did it turn out for their quarterbacks? I love Robert Saleh. I think he could be a great head coach. But if you're asking me, is he the key to Zach Wilson turning the quarterback misfortunes in New York? Come on, man. I can't buy